Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce, Yining, I can let you introduce yourself as our moderator, and then we have our wonderful speaker with us today, Yining. So I'm very excited to have both of them here. I'm going to turn it over to Yining.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yining. Right now, I'm a 6-year PhD in biomedical engineering at Duke. We're very lucky to have Yining with us today. He is currently a PhD analyst at LEK Consulting. And I'm going to kick off by asking Yining the first questions to tell us a little bit more about his background.
Okay. Thank you, Yining. Hey, everyone. As Yining introduced, my name is Yining, and I was a PhD candidate at Duke for material science and in mechanical engineering material science department. And I graduated in late 2019, early 2020. And then I joined a scientific instrument company called Breakout as an engineer. And after working as an engineer, I recently just joined LEK Consulting as a PhD analyst, where I mainly do consulting work daily.
I see. Yang, can you tell us a little bit more about your transition from Bruce over to LEK, and how did you get your position at LEK today?
Sure. While at Brooker, I was mainly an engineer, and my daily task was to go to the customer sites and troubleshoot with their machines and instrument. Sometimes I also need to do the training. Through that, I saw many labs and also the front end of the technology. And at the same time, I'm also exploring or hanging out with my friends and hearing other opportunities or other career paths in the world. And then LEK Consulting happily was recruiting at that time, and then they really encouraged me to apply for that position, and I tried, and now I'm pretty happy to get this position as a consultant.
I see. So you kind of joined LEK, is it like during COVID time, or is it pre-COVID?
It's during COVID time, I would say. I interviewed with LEK last October, November-ish, and got the offer last year. And because I still have a lot of work and there's some transition time, and I really officially started with LEK right in October, early October this year. So it's like the whole time is doing that.
Oh my goodness. So what would be a typical day for you working remotely or in person right now?
So I think I'm the lucky one or the unlucky one. I never work remotely because before October, I was working for Brooker, and my job is to go to my customer sites. I really had to fly everywhere. I flew through the entire pandemic and went to like over 20 states, took like wheel up, wheel down flights, more than 100.
My God.
Yeah. And after joining LEK, I just go to the office and work with my team remotely. So my typical day working remotely with my team is like going to the office 8:30 or 9, check my emails, and also get the brief of day from my manager, and then do some research tasks and some interviews and also client meetings. Sometimes I also have to develop our slides, do the quality control checks, and then at the end of the day, just have a brief wrap up with my manager, and then we can call it a day.
I see. Was that a huge transition for you from your job to this?
Yes, I think it's a huge transition because I would say my previous job has very, very few to do, very weak relationship with my current job, but still there's something because previously I was helping to troubleshoot with the more technical issues with my customer. So really what I need to know is the technical things, all the physics behind them. And right now it's more like a high level strategic thing. How can I generalize the problem and then solve the problem? Also from several points. The first one is the objective I'm working with is different. The second is the customer's meeting is different. The third one is the level of detail that I have to troubleshoot is different. So there's a huge transaction.
I see.
Mhm.
And I guess I think a lot of people in the audience are probably interested in your career
Mhm.
path. And what would you advise them to try out if they're interested in consulting? What would you advise them to do?
Wow, there are a lot of advice. I would divide this into several categories. For example, if you're in an early career like exploration period, maybe if you're interested in consulting, I would suggest people to really get to talk to people in the consulting industry and to get to know what they do like every day and what are they working for, what is the value of this job. Once they get determined into coming to the consulting world, they want to get more prepared for their application interviews or those kind of things. So during that period, I would suggest people to really think about how to build up the leadership skills or the way of thinking, solving the problem, and get some social practices to really get a hands-on of that thing. I think during this process, people can also have a deeper understanding of the consulting industry and also have a deeper understanding of themselves to see if they're really interested in this kind of job or not. And later on, when you're really preparing for the application to the job, I would say resume preparation and how to wrap up yourself and as a well-rounded candidate. For example, think about those why through those previous experience, why you're interested in this job and why you think you're a good candidate of doing this job. And also talk to the people in those firms and make connections, polish resumes, and after getting an interview invitation, just practice interviews like case interviews and also how to introduce yourself, those kind of things. And for those people who already get the job offer, maybe they can learn some special skills, I would say. Financial technical skills include Excel, PowerPoint making, and Tableau or other software. And knowledge-wise, I would say some basic accounting, financial skills are also very helpful. I hope I covered a lot.
Oh, you covered everything. Super comprehensive. You should even promote our consulting club a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, maybe you know that I worked for the consulting club for a couple of years while I was Duke. Definitely, if the consulting club wants me to promote something and also make connection with LEK, I'm more than happy to do so.
Oh, thank you so much. So our last question here is, what is the employment outlook for consulting, given the COVID crisis going on right now?
So from my understanding right now, we're just walking out of the COVID, and I know the consulting entire industry is hiring very, very heavily. So mostly all the firms are expanding their consulting team, and also a good news for our classmates or our friends here is that recently I heard that a lot of firms are increasing their salary compensation to attract talents. Yeah, so that's a good news for us, and definitely we need people.
I see. And I think right now we are about time for Q&A sessions. So feel free to drop questions in the chat box or raise your hand and we will address all the questions. And I personally have some questions to start with. Sure. I guess I'm just curious what brought you back to consulting. Yeah.
All right, bring me back to consulting. Yeah, sure. I would say this is more of a luck, or everything just happened at that time, because I was when I was applying for LEK Consulting, I have been working for Brooker for like more than half a year, and I already got the pace of that kind of work, and also getting more trained, and also taking more burdens of my from my manager and my team. So it's really like one of my friends highly recommended me to just apply for that job and try it out. Since I've been preparing for this for so long, I would say maybe just try it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I at least I tried, right? So that's really just my first step to send out my resume and see what happens in the next. And then I remember my last round interview was actually a very in a very rush situation because I was on my customer site, and also I had to carve out half day, do this in the hotel, and also there was a time difference. I was like 1 hour in the central time zone. So they scheduled me 8 a.m. in the morning, so I really had to like get up 6 or 6:30, but finish the interview in the hotel. Yeah, but yeah, still everything worked out, and then just I would say, well, since I get this and this is really what I want to try out, then just transition back to consulting and see what I can do here.
I see. And you feel like everything just line out perfectly, it's like meant to be almost.
Well, I think it's a little complicated because I know, well, before getting the job offer from LAK Consulting, I knew if I work for Brooker for long term, it's okay for me. So I start to embrace that kind of life. So really, this is I would readjust myself to this is a new exploration, and I want to try this kind of job and see if I like to work in consulting or not. I can't say this is really aligned with my what I wanted, or I made some achievement, but keep the profile as I'm exploring and just do what I want to do.
Got it. I see. So now some of the questions coming in, I'm going to read them out to you. So how do you go about finding a smaller boutique consulting firm closer to your area of expertise, for example, medical device, as opposed to the big names?
I would say from two aspects. One is what do you really want, which is after consulting or long-term, the long-term plan. If someone wants to go to like C-suite or something and transition out from consulting, probably a bigger name will be more helpful. Otherwise, I would say a smaller boutique consulting firm may fit better to start with, especially we're all PhDs. The transition will be smaller and the culture will be less harshy, and it's gonna be better for that person to work longer term in that, which means if someone wants to do consulting in a longer term, maybe a smaller firm is a good start point. And to put this is like bigger firm, more competitive, maybe we can get in, but I can't say after 1 or 2 years if the person still liked that kind of pace or that kind of culture or so. So this more than the other aspect is from the person's background. I would say a smaller firm will be matching the background more. So this person can use his or her expertise more in a more depth than in a bigger firm. In a bigger firm, I would say maybe what I've learned before has less useful, is much less useful in my new job, but I got more exposure to other stuff. So there's like pros and cons and back and forth.
Yeah, got it. So what is the most difficult part of your job right now?
The most difficult part of my job, let me think about that. I would say, because I've been working for 1 year, I'm okay with the pace right now. Right now, the most difficult would be more like the skill set or the hard skill set. So during my first few weeks on my job, so my manager keeps asking me to take the verbatim notes from the client meeting, from the team meeting or so. That was really challenging for me because I really have to type fast, especially people in this industry speak very fast. And yeah, so that I had to practice that. And also along with the projects, we also get to do a lot of trainings and how to incorporate the new knowledge into our current job. It's really challenging for me to how to apply what you just learned into what you have to do. I think those are the challenges or the difficult part for the job for me, but maybe different people will have different perspectives.
I see. Like given your tight schedule, you still have to keep learning and then try to incorporate those learning part into your job right now.
Right. So on average, we will spend like 10 to 20% of our time to do the training while on project. For new hires, that percentage will be much higher.
I
Yeah,
see.
so they are really ramping you up and want you to catch up with others. And also at the same time, others, more senior team members are still learning.
I see. That is indeed very difficult.
Yeah.
Another question comes our way is, who are some of the major company you consult with, which I don't think you could reveal.
Right,
But
those are confidential information, but I can tell that our clients are like the leading companies in different sectors. Right now, my current project is in healthcare, and that's more like the health technique or the IT health, those kind of things. Right.
I see.
Mhm.
And so the question continues as, how do you get them to hire you? Do they continue once the job is done? I guess this person really wants some general, workflow for a consulting project, maybe.
Oh, yeah. So the workflow for a consulting project, or to be more specific, how I have to keep myself like on the project is that I'll answer this like in two questions. The workflow first. The workflow is usually we have a team kickoff meeting. So we have a staffing team. At least for LEK, there's a staffing team who put me onto a specific project, or if I'm not on a project, I will be put in the client development projects. So say I'm put on a project, a regular project. There we start with a kickoff meeting, and then everyone sits together to brainstorm the structure or the issue tree for the case, and then we start line out the slides, and then just divide and conquer the smaller things we have to do. And that thing, the divide and conquer part is the longest. Usually you have to come back and forth to find more information and to develop another way to solve this issue, and then go back, send the slides to our manager's manager, and for the review, address the review, meet with the client to get their comment, and after several reiterates, then close up the project. And to answer how to keep myself on the project, I would say right now I don't worry about that because we have a lot of projects coming in, and usually if your performance is okay, then the staffing team is more likely to put you on the project. So thinking this way, they hire you to do the project. If they don't put you on project, that's a waste of them.
Got it. I see.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe on the broader scope is
Mm-hmm.
LDK super busy with a lot of project coming in right now, or is, I think that is the question, like how do LEK get project, or how busy they are right now. I'm pretty sure with COVID happening, all the consulting firms are pretty packed with works right now, right?
Yes, with COVID happening, a lot of almost all the consulting firms are packed with works. And how LEK get project is we have the manager directors or the partners of the company. Their main responsibility is to do the client development or the project development, keep the relationship with the client, and then to define the goals and that. And once those are done, I would say more than 95% of our consulting staff are staff on projects. So really, it's pretty tight. Yeah, yeah. And we also have a rule is that if we are like keep on project for more than how many weeks, I think that number is maybe. I don't remember that number, but if I'm keep on project passing a specific number of weeks, then I have the right to say I want to take 1 week off, like doing the client project or client development project or something else. Like, yeah, blow off the steam and calm down and have to live the life. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Do some self-care and all that.
Yeah, like the dental or all those kind of things.
Got it. So another question is, what are some of the bigger problems the industry need help with? This is very broad.
Okay, which industry?
Maybe let's let's talk about healthcare that you might be more familiar with.
Yeah, so from my project experience, I can see the healthcare is transitioning into the telehealth care or the virtual healthcare, and the digitalization. Those technology is going to be the trend of that, especially for the COVID-19. A lot of patients are hesitant to go to the hospitals in person. So with that perspective, I would say how to bring the hospitals to your home and how to get a face-to-face consult with your physicians, clinicians. Those are like the trends or needs the help with with external forces or the investment or some other thing. So I think that will be the trend.
Got it. I see. Another questions that I often get is that for maybe PhD candidate or postdoc, do you think we're trained with the right skill set that would be applicable in consulting?
I would say, for example, we have a skill set like this, and the consulting skill set is this. We have some overlap, and for those overlap, we are definitely well trained. At the same time, we still have some white space that need to fill up to be a very good consultant. To elaborate that, for example, we are trained to solve problems. So our logical training, detailed oriented training, especially for the quality controlling when reviewing all the slides, those are our strengths, I would say. Some white spaces like the business financial skills, and also sometimes how to communicate effectively in the industry pace, that is something that we need to pick up while doing the job.
Got it. I see. And a lot of the learning sort of come on the job, right? And there's a lot of training to support you to do the transition.
Right. Especially how to do the desktop research, and also how to communicate well with your team and with the client. Those are, you're gonna get trained in the companies. Don't worry too much about that. Yeah. So the philosophy here is this: when they are hiring, they really look into the basic capability of a candidate, which means how you think of a problem, how creative you are, and how you communicate in a well-structured way. Can you are you presentable? For example, if I put one of my employees in front of a client, can this be a formal presentation or some very casual thing? Those basic things, if the candidates has, then the rest of the training or the development will be the company's responsibility. So they want to, once they make a check mark on you, they want to develop you to work better.
I see. So they really invest in your potential.
Right. That's one of the reasons that I think I thought consulting is a good industry to start with, at least to start with getting into the industry.
That's for sure.
That's wonderful. I'm sorry to put such a abrupt end to such a lovely conversation. Excellent. Thank you, Yining, for sharing so much wealth of knowledge with us, and a wonderful job moderating. I'll just give you a minute or two to wrap up with any final thoughts, because we'll have our 12:30 starting soon. Fantastic.
Sure. Also, yeah, thank you, Charlene, if I pronounced correctly. And also I want to say thank Duke IME and also the Career Development Center, which really helped me a lot when I was at school. And also for the people who are interested in consulting industry, feel free to contact me. I can leave my email. I think Rachel has my email, and also Yining may have my email. Feel free to distribute the candidates, and also to learn more about the firm and also the APD Consulting Club. I'm more than happy to help.
Thank you so much. You're very generous with your time and your knowledge, and we really appreciate it. We are recording this session, and we will share it later. So hopefully we'll see you all on the next Zoom, the 12:30 session. And we've been having some Zoom glitches, but I'm hopeful that we've got it all worked out. So thanks for your patience.
No problem. Thank you for hosting me.
Great.
Yining, yeah, and Shalini.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good